Hello. Am I recording? I'm recording. There's like a delay, so every time I'm like, hello, which is why sometimes they're weird. But anyway, hello everybody, the only Nikki here. So, wow, a lot has happened in the last month or so since I've done a video. Well, first thing, I'm probably going to do a separate video on this because I have a lot of cool pictures I can share, but I got married. um, That's all right. My lovely boyfriend Brendan and I don't think we win for the shortest engagement of all time, but we decided to get married on Monday. It was Monday, May 22nd, and then we decided to just get married the next Monday, which was Memorial Day. So we planned a wedding in 7 days. And there wasn't like any kind of proposal or anything. We've talked about it for a long time. There's a lot behind this, and I'm going to get to that because that's what the whole point of this video is. But, we just kind of decided. So we went out that day and found some rings. We picked the few people we wanted to invite, which was really just my parents. We have a wonderful mutual friend we've both known for years and years and years who's a minister. So we called him to do the ceremony. And then just a couple other friends, and that was it. We did it in the backyard. It was beautiful. Again, I will do a whole separate video on that because we are goofballs and we wrote our own vows and they included fart jokes. So you'll need to hear the vows too. Okay. So yes, I got married. I will do another video on that. I feel like I should do that video first, but this is fresh on my mind. This stuff is still kind of going on right now. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about what's going on over the last 3 to 4 weeks. Well, but I guess it's only been 3 weeks. So, well, longer than that. Anyway, I've mentioned before how I have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and I've been having a lot more issues and some pain on my right side. It's been bothering me for several months, and it comes and goes. So it's it'll be really bad, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to see a doctor. And then it goes away, and I just kind of forget about it until it gets really bad again. Well, it finally got to a point where I almost blacked out at work, and it was really embarrassing. So I decided I was going to finally see a gastroenterologist. So, excuse me, in which you saw I got a colonoscopy. I did a whole video about that. So that was fun. I did the colonoscopy. It came back completely clear. There's nothing on it. But she also ordered an ultrasound of my right side, where all the pain was, just to see if there's something else in there that might be causing it. So I had the ultrasound about, I think it was the Monday after I got the colonoscopy. So it was just a few days later. And I never heard anything. So I quite honestly forgot I even had that done. Because, you go in, they wand your belly, and you go away. It was a 15-minute process. It was easy. So I kind of forgot about it. So then nobody called. I never got any results. And on Monday, 2 weeks after I'd gotten it done, I got a little email alert that my online health chart had an update. And I was like, I forgot I even had an online health chart thingy. So I logged in, and it had all the test results of all the blood tests I had done when I got my colonoscopy and the ultrasound. And I'm at work, and I'm reading this. Now, again, I get this in my email inbox. It's like an automated thing. Nobody's called me. But I have to read on there that my ultrasound showed that I had a rather large mass on my pancreas. I didn't understand it. I didn't know what that meant. And obviously, the first thing when you hear mass on pancreas is pancreatic cancer, which, as we all know, is incredibly lethal. The survival rates of that are very small. So needless to say, I panicked. I cried. I went into my boss's office, who was out. She was out that week. So when I made panicked phone calls to the gastroenterologist, to my family doctor, I didn't know what any of this meant, and I was scared out of my freaking mind. And I finally got, my family doctor called me back and said they recommended an MRI to get a better look at it. So meanwhile that day, I couldn't go back to work. I called Brendan, who came and picked me up, and I'm like, I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't think about anything other than, there's a mass on my pancreas. So, we cried a lot, we talked a lot, and that's when we both were like, let's get married. And I don't want anybody to think ever that we just thought because there's a possibility I could have this, horrible illness that we should get married. I mean, obviously that was a bit of a deciding factor, but we've been together for 9 years, and we've been living together for 6, 7.5 of those 9 years, like 8 of those 9 years. So we're more or less married anyway. At this point, it was just a piece of paper. But, you know, we said that, and then like the next day we were talking about it, and I was like, you know, I really would like to go ahead and get married. So, and he did too. And obviously we love each other dearly. It didn't change much, but if there is the possibility of health concerns for either one of us going forward, it's just going to make things so much easier to have that. I mean, I had already put in place, like I had healthcare power of attorney, financial power of attorney, living will, final will, all that, because like the house and stuff is in my name. And so if I died, it would be a big problem for Brendan. So I got a pop up. Sorry. Get rid of that. So I had all that in place, but still, this just makes things a little more solid. And vice versa. If something were to happen to him or if he were to get sick, my family is very close by and they're still alive, and I know they would take care of him. His family lives pretty far away. So anyway, I got scheduled for my MRI that Friday. I could do a whole video about that. That was probably the worst hour of my entire life. I'm claustrophobic. And it's awful. I did find a place in town that does an open MRI, which helped, but it was not much better. I don't like IVs, and I have an IV in the whole time. I don't like laying on my back. I had to lay on my back. Don't like small spaces, and I'm terrible at sitting still, and you have to do all those things for this. Plus, you have to lay with your arms up over your head, and I have enough trouble breathing when I'm laying that way, and then I'm panicking. It was terrible. And you walk in and the machine's already like ka-chunk, 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 which I'm like, okay, I heard it was loud. But then like they bring you all the way into this little tube of death, and then it just starts going right in your face. So it was awful. But so that was Friday, and so I wouldn't get the results until Tuesday because it was Memorial Day weekend. So we at least had the wedding to kind of distract us. So Tuesday came around, and I found out that the MRI came back completely clear. There's nothing on it. There's nothing on my pancreas from the MRI. So now I'm like obviously elated and incredibly relieved, but I'm also really confused at this point. Like how, because it wasn't like there's a blip on my pancreas. It was like a 3-inch, like 3 inches, like this big, something like that, like a 3-inch mass. I'm like, how could, like I could understand like mistaking a piece up, but it was huge. And there was like 2 on both sides of my, I don't know. But I've since read that ultrasounds aren't very accurate, blah, blah, blah. And that the MRI would be more accurate. And my family doctor said this was good news and to definitely be hopeful, cautiously optimistic. But they did say I should get a CT scan to kind of be like a tiebreaker of sorts, or just to get one more image in there. So I had my CT scan yesterday. Excuse me. I was a little nervous about it because I remembered having one back in 2003 when I was in the hospital for something else. And you have to drink the barium stuff. And I remember just like violently vomiting all day from that. But I was also on like all these antibiotics at the time that were making me sick. So I think it was just that. I had no problem with the barium whatsoever. So I go in, and the CT scan, I mean, that's just the little donut thing you slide back and forth through. It was so easy compared to an MRI until they put the contrast solution in. The CT contrast, X-ray contrast is that ionized iodine, whatever, that they put in through an IV. I remember having that before once too, and it's the weirdest feeling. You can taste it, you can smell it, and your entire body gets warm. Like you can feel it go through your veins. It's so nasty. It's the weirdest feeling, and it really wigs me out, and it makes you feel like you're peeing your pants because like once it gets to your bladder and around like your femoral arteries, it just feels like that wet, warm feeling, but you're not. I did not pee my pants, but it definitely felt that way. But then like they're taking the last images, and I could feel that warm, and I could feel it get down my feet, and then something felt not right. So I kind of like waited for a second, and something really felt not right. So I called out to the tech, and I'm like, "Are you done? Are you done? Are you done?" She's like, "Hold on." I'm like, "No, something's wrong. Something's wrong." So she finally like came in, and then she took one look at me and said, "Oh, okay." Pulled me out. I apparently was having an allergic reaction to the CT dye, which happens. Um, thank God it was not anaphylaxis, but I did tell her once I knew exactly what was going on, because I've had allergic reactions before. And I told her, if it comes down to it, I have EpiPens in my purse over on the table. Please bring them over to me. They're in this little gold bag. She was like, okay. They called a nurse in. I had broken out in hives. My face, my hands swelled up. Like I immediately, as soon as I started feeling, I ripped my rings off. My hands swelled up. My feet swelled up. I had rash all over my face, down my neck, all down my arms and my feet. I had hives. It was itching really bad. Like it was absolutely terrifying because I didn't know if it was going to hit my throat and I was going to go into anaphylaxis or not. Obviously, I'm okay. But that was probably the most terrifying few minutes of my entire life. I had never been that scared. Not gonna lie. Because it just kept, like, it started out like it was burning, and then it just kept getting worse and worse. And I'm like, oh God, it's gonna keep getting worse. I'm gonna die. I didn't die. Spoiler. But it was terrifying. So that's that. I should get the results for the CT scan tomorrow, but like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't think it's going to show anything, but, you know, I'm not a doctor. So we'll see. I'll update when I do my wedding video, which I'll probably film this weekend when I'm sorry about the traffic outside. It's very loud. I'll probably film that this weekend when I have a little bit more time, and I will let you know what I find out about that. I apologize. I've got a really massive headache right now, so I'm trying not to sit here and go. Anyway. So that's my medical adventures I've been going through. Thought you'd all want to know. Fingers crossed. I hope it's nothing. I mean, they did mention it could be a cyst if there's something there, which if the CT shows something, I'll have to get a biopsy. And if it's just a cyst, they'll probably drain it. So that's it, y'all. I hope everybody's been doing well. I've had some really cool ideas for more videos, so I'm definitely going to be filming a little bit more. My schedule is going to be a little crazy this month, but then after that it lightens up a lot. So a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Thank you guys for stopping by my channel. And yeah, I got nothing else to say. I never know how to close these things. So thank you so much. Bye. Bye.